just when you start feeling better again, just when you start feeling more like yourself, just when you've gone over all of the things that you might say if they pop up out of the blue and you feel really confident and good about your boundaries, they pop up and they say, hey, and you're like, fuck, what do I do now? And it throws you off and you kind of go into a bit of shock or freeze. And in this video, I want to talk about what to do in this situation. And I also want to help you understand why you feel so like a deer in headlights, not sure what to do, not sure what to say, because this is really normal. And I see this all the time with my clients in my groups and in my one-to-ones. And I've realized why this is. So we're going to talk about that in this video. So before I get into it, I'd like to let you know that there are 7 spaces left in the Breakthrough 2025 group program, which is going to be an amazing space for transformation, especially if you've been feeling stuck, especially if you've been going around in your head, doing the work and not feeling like anything is changing. This group is particularly good for people who are on the fence about doing it. Because if you're unsure, there's part of you that does want to do it and there's part of you that's like, that's a bit scary. And anything that is like exciting but scary, you can lean into because it's going to grow and expand you in some way, right? So if you've got questions, doubts or worries about it, book in a discovery call on the website and we can talk and have a chat about all of it and I can tell you about the program. It's going to be amazing and it'll take you all the way up to 2026, which is not that long away, but so much can happen in that time. You can feel confident, you can be free of a narrative that's been keeping you stuck, you can feel more like you again. You can be empowered in this dynamic that you've been stuck in. You can know your own boundaries, your own worth, so that you can show up with confidence and self-awareness that will take you to the next place that you want to go with ease and without the fear, the guilt, the worry, the shame, all of that. Okay? So if you want any more information about that, you can find out in the link below. Right, so when your ex texts you out of the blue, and it's a bit of a shock, isn't it? Because you kind of go through all the stories in your head about what you might say, but when it actually happens, you feel like a deer in headlights. And look, the thing that you need to remember in this situation is that you're an addict and they are an addict. And them texting you is essentially like an addict walking into a bar and telling themselves, oh, I don't think I can have any alcohol, right? It's really hard. The situation, this text message, has posed a massive threat on the addiction that you're trying to break, right? It's literally said, hello, look at this dopamine that you can get if you just text me back. Remember all those nice feelings that I gave to you? And in that moment, you forget that you're an addict. You forget how much this addiction has cost you. In that moment, you forget that the red flags are still there, right? And it's really, really hard to know what to do because there's part of you that, of course, understandably, will say, well, what if they have changed? What if this is better than it was before? What if they've got something new to say? And so you're locked in to the curiosity and the hope again. And so the thing to remember is that you're an addict in this situation. We're all addicts in some way, right? But I like this analogy and this comparison because the mechanism is still the same as someone who is an addict of like drugs or alcohol or anything else. Your phone. If that situation shows itself up, like, you know, I can't walk into M&S without wanting to buy a bag of Percy Pigs. I can't. It's really hard. If I go into M&S, I have to deliberately take myself around the Percy Pigs. Otherwise, I'm going to buy them because I want them, because I'm addicted to them. Not technically addicted to them, but you know what I mean. And if somebody who you have had good feelings with, and they've given you connection, understanding, they've seen you, they've been with you, and they've made you feel needs that had never been met all your life have been met with this person, you're going to want to know what they've got to say. So when they text you, remember that pattern is still there and it will be activated immediately as soon as you see their name on your phone. And so you might feel anxious, You might feel stressed. You might go into freeze. You might be going, oh, I don't know what to say, even though you spent months knowing what to say in your head. You might not know because suddenly you're back in the pattern of, I've got to say or do the right thing. Otherwise, they're going to leave again. You're back in the pattern of hope and disappointment. You're back in the pattern of, if I do anything wrong, this person will abandon me, which is not true, okay? Because it's not about you doing something wrong. It's not your responsibility, basically, to decide and to act in a way that will keep this person here or not. Because they, especially if they're avoidant, are responsible for their avoidance. They're responsible for them showing up in this dynamic. Okay, so they are also addicted. People who are avoidant don't just not have any feelings. They have feelings, but they can't take responsibility for their life. So they can't make the relationship valid because they're not willing to own their stuff. They're not willing to own their shit. And so that creates problems in the relationship. Yeah. So remember that just because the relationship has just had to end because it's unhealthy, because people are being hurt, because stress is being created because of this dynamic, doesn't mean that they are also not addicted to you, you know? But that doesn't make it healthy. Someone's got to be the grown up here. So you have to decide based on what you know of them. Based on what you know of them, what your experience has been of them, do you believe that given where they were at before, that there's a chance that they have done the work on themselves, that they've done any work on themselves, that they have any awareness? And sometimes they really need to show that to you over and over and over and over again. But if they come in just with a, hey, how are you? And I miss you. What can you do with that? What can you do with that? That's like in my ebook, about the avoidant when they come back and the things that you can say to avoidance, which is an ebook that you can get on my website, by the way. It's really good. So many people have downloaded it and have had such nice response to it. But anyway, there's a part in there where I've basically put one of the responses is, hey, I don't really know what to do with that because we haven't spoken for months. Like, what does someone expect you to do if they show up out of the blue after like breaking your heart and say, I miss you? What are you supposed to do with that? That's not enough information. That's not enough information for you to go, oh, I miss you too. And it makes you incredibly vulnerable if you do, you know? So it's about being able to like see the situation as it is and make decisions based on what's been true for you. You can respond. You don't have to ignore this person, but you also don't need to throw your whole heart into this, because this person hasn't yet made it safe for you. So if you're feeling unsafe, by the way, that makes sense. If you're feeling shocked in freeze, that makes sense, because you're a deer in headlights wondering if this person is going to just suddenly run off with your heart again, because that's been your experience. Yeah. So all of the feelings of shock and confusion that you're feeling make perfect sense given what you've been through. And you need to ground yourself, get regulated, go for a walk, like really remember what your values are about relationships. Because at the end of the day, listen to this, if you're confused about what to do in a relationship, you have to refer to things that don't change, like your values. What are your values in relationships? Consistency, loyalty, stability, openness, honesty, communication, trust, right? Those things. Humor, reliability. Those are your values, okay? So when you're confused, refer to your values and ask yourself, is this person showing up in line with my values right now? Does this message reflect my values right now? And if not, remind them of your values. And be honest with yourself. I think the more emotion you put into your reply, the more vulnerable you are at the end of the day and the more depleted you'll feel afterwards. So keep it short and sweet at the beginning and let them do the work, match their energy. And if you're not feeling ready, don't match their energy and just don't reply. You don't owe them anything at this point. So I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like any more help, if you'd like to join the Breakthrough 2025, we've still got 7 spaces. I'd love to see you there. If not, join the Heartbreak Healers Club. It's really good. And it's only £47 a month. And it's a beautiful group of people all on a journey just like you. If you'd like any more information about either of these things, you can find out in the links below. Bye.